I think it's hard to understate exactly how big Robocop was. Here we are, 35 years after its release, and most people acknowledge it as one of the best action films of the 1980s. But there was a certain amount of Robocop mania back then. And Robocop mania was even bigger in Asia. It was so big that Robocop is still a mainstay on the labels of pirate Famicom carts. The concept of Robocop is that in a cyberpunk future, a virtual reality vacation triggers a man's memories of being a super spy, and now he has to free Mars from tyrannical corporate rule. There's a bit of strangeness right off the bat. Data East made a Robocop game for the arcade. But this seems like a situation where the rights for arcade games and for computer games were separated. Because Ocean Software made their own Robocop game. And the Famicom Robocop game is a port of Ocean's. Ocean was a mainstay of terrible 8-bit video games back in the 1980s, but they made very few appearances on the Famicom. Robocop is up to Ocean's usual standards of quality. None. Trying to qualify it in a genre beyond action game is tough. Is it a beat-em-up? Well, no, you pull out your gun all the time. Well then, is it a run-and-gun? No, you can't run, and you can barely gun. The game takes you through 6 stages, where you just have to progress to a boss and beat them up. And as Robocop, the A button is your primary attack, which will be either punching or guns, and the B button punches. That's right, a lot of the time both buttons punch. You'll also note that you can't jump, which makes dodging attacks a bit difficult. To deal with incoming enemy attacks, you have to either get out of the way, duck, or you can block. You don't have a lot of mobility with Robocop, but blocking is pretty powerful. Hit select and Robocop will be invulnerable for a short period. You'll drop your block stance when an enemy collides with you, and select is not the most responsive of buttons, but it still works. On occasion, Robocop will pull out his gun, and the line between when you have to go unarmed and when you can be armed is really fuzzy. Like on this stage, as soon as you enter, you hit one person, and then you pull out your gun for the rest of the stage. Why not have your gun out the whole time? It's not like it does this in response to other people shooting at you. There are 2 bars in the lower left. The bottom one is your health, while the top one is your energy. When Robocop is disconnected from his umbilical cord, he can only operate for up to 5 minutes. So that meter is ticking down constantly. You recover health by picking up these Ps, and that will mostly fill you up, while T is recovered by picking up these batteries, and those recover roughly 10 seconds worth of time. If either of these meters run out, then Robocop dies, and you only have 1 life. You get 3 continues, but this game is a long haul for such a limited quantity. However, if you hold down A, B, select, and then hit start on the game over screen, then you can continue as much as you like. The 4 icons in the lower right are special indicators. The face lets you know that a breakable wall has been detected. There are exactly 2 of these in the game, both on the second stage. The second indicator blinks to let you know that you have to punch. The only place this is used is with the breakable walls. The third icon is an enemy sensor to let you know that somebody is going to attack Robocop. You might have noticed that this is an action game, which means there's always somebody about to attack Robocop. Finally, the E icon flashes when your power or time runs low, which you could check by looking at the meters just to the left of it, or by hearing the alarm that goes off when your power or time is running low. So that's an awful lot of screen real estate being taken up by things that are redundant and useless. While running around, you might find some weapons. There's 2 additional special guns that you can pick up, a machine gun and the Cobra gun. You get 30 shots with the auto-fire machine gun, and 2 shots with the Cobra gun, who has a big blast that penetrates anything. To switch to a different gun, you have to hit start, and then up and down selects the weapon. Most of the time you'll just be facing generic thugs as you walk around the street, but there are a few special enemies worth mentioning. The boss of the second stage has taken a hostage, and if you shoot the hostage, then you'll get hurt yourself. So basically you just duck until the enemy takes a shot, then you stand up and fire back twice. The fourth stage is filled with deadly traps, You're mainly going to want to find a place where you can stand out of reach and shoot at the emitter, whether it's a turret or a giant flamethrower. The boss on the 4th stage is the ED-209, the giant robot from the film. It walks back and forth, and you just have to stand right in front of it and shoot. It only attacks when it reaches the end of its path, which makes it very predictable. And then there's the greatest enemy in Robocop: stairs. Going up and down stairs requires pixel-perfect precision, so you'll find yourself wasting that precious time trying to find the exact right spot to stand so that you can go. Another major annoyance is that enemy spawns occur based on your horizontal position, so if there's someone that you have to back up in order to deal with, it means you're going to have to deal with them again. In between stages, you can shoot targets for bonus points. Your goal is to shoot 30 targets in 30 seconds to get an extra continue. The 30th target doesn't become available to shoot until 29.9 seconds. I have to point out the music in Robocop because that's a pretty good rendition of the central motif in the Robocop theme. That 30-second loop of music is also the only song in the game. I was really sick of it by the end. Now, there is a bit of good news with Robocop. The Famicom only got Robocop 2. Robocop 3 for the NES was only released in North America and Europe, so I won't have to play that infamously terrible game. I recall the NES Robocop being weirdly popular, and also hating it even at the time. Coming back to it now, my hatred was completely justified. It's not an absolute bottom tier Famicom game, but it is a pretty mediocre one.